Hello and happy Monday, everybody. Here's what's coming up tonight on Now. Bed bugs. They are disgusting, and we're going to let you know about an incident in Augusta and how you can protect yourself if you're a renter.
And sugar daddies for college students to pay off their tuition. We're looking at a website that's actually going around.
Also, a main connection to Wonder Woman.
This is News Center now. I'm Amanda Hill.
And I'm Lee Goldberg. How do you feel about creepy, crawly things?
Don't love them. Don't love them.
Most people don't. If they make you squeamish, you are not going to be a huge fan of what we're about to talk about.
Not at all.
At least not the subject matter. It's not good.
The good news is City Center in Augusta is back open today. It was shut down after a bed bug scare. News Center's Jess Gagne visited the room where it all happened.
I'm still scratching.
Yes.
It really, I mean, we talk about bed bugs and all of a sudden it just starts going. But, you know, in all seriousness, officials say a disgruntled man went about getting help with the bed bug problem in completely the wrong way. He brought the bugs into the city office and caused a panic that led to the building's closure.
A staff member initially thought it was coffee grounds that he had dumped on the counter.
It wasn't. The cup that was emptied in the general assistant's office contained something much more repulsive.
There was well in excess of 100 live and dead bugs.
Nazar says a city resident came in Friday morning looking for help with a bed bug problem. He says the man relocated to a new apartment that day, but was told he could not move in after the landlord became aware of a bed bug infestation. The man became upset when city staff members couldn't help him secure another place. Nazar says he came back to the city office, this time with bed bugs in hand, and scattered them all over the counter. Employees called police, who caught up with the man, but catching all the bugs was a much bigger problem.
Our city manager and assistant city manager were down in the space helping the staff members down there and taking care of the live bugs that they could see.
But with no way to be sure that the bugs hadn't been spread around in other offices, officials closed the entire building on Friday afternoon. It reopened Monday morning after pest control professionals spent the weekend spraying. Police would not comment on whether the man carrying the bugs will be charged or what he would be charged with. Spraying and closing early also cost the city money, but officials say they made the call in the best interest of the public.
They're a nuisance with respect to biting and the incidents that the situation they can cause there, and they're expensive to get rid of if you get them in your home. So we definitely did not want to have that situation occurring to somebody.
Bed bug detecting dogs will be brought in this week to make sure the offices are bug free. Now, in extreme cases and depending on the reaction of the landlord, the city says they can take action when it comes to bed bugs, but it is primarily a landlord-tenant responsibility. And Keith was over there saying, did you see the pile? I mean, they're really small, but when you put 100 of them in a cup, they become kind of visible.
Yes. Deet your shoes and your legs to be safe, says Christian.
All my stuff is going immediately in the, even though they sprayed and I'm sure everything's fine, I just, I can't. I just feel going into the washer.
Oh, gosh. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, I guess thank you for that. Bed bugs can hitch a ride on almost anything which causes these kinds of outbreaks. The Center for Disease Control says bed bugs usually hide during the day in places like the seam of the mattress or under box springs. They can attach to luggage, folded clothes, bedding, or furniture. So most people don't even know they're transporting bed bugs until there's an outbreak. The good news, the CDC says bed bugs are not known to spread disease, but they are definitely annoying. The bites can be painful and itchy, with the chance of causing a secondary skin infection. Amanda?
Thanks, Lee. So, Britt Vitalius, you are the president of the Southern Maine Landlord Association. To talk a little more about the tenant-landlord relationship in something like this. So, first of all, who pays for the extermination fees if bed bugs are found on a rental property?
Yeah, the responsibility really is shared between the tenant and the landlord. The tenant has an obligation to tell the landlord immediately if they suspect there's a bed bug in their unit or an infestation, but then it's the landlord's responsibility to get a professional into the unit and to pay for the extermination.
Is there a time frame on that, or if someone gets frustrated with the landlord not getting it done quickly?
From notification to the landlord should get someone in there to inspect within 5 days. And really, that's just good practice. Nobody wants those bed bugs in the unit, so they should get someone right in, a licensed professional within 5 days. And after that, then the tenant has to comply. And a lot of times there's preparation that needs to be done or access that needs to be had by the professionals in order to do the treatments.
So even if the tenant is responsible for bringing those bed bugs in, it's the landlord's responsibility to pay for it?
That's exactly right, yes. The bed bugs usually don't walk down the street and come in the unit, and the landlords don't usually bring them in. So it usually is somehow through the tenant, but inadvertently. But the responsibility does fall to the landlord to treat and to pay for the treatment.
We talked about that 5-day window there. If you are the tenant and you're frustrated that your landlord is not getting that done, are there steps you can take?
Yeah, the ordinance doesn't say who should take care of it, but there are penalties for landlords if it's not complied with. So check with your attorney if they're not playing along and doing what they should. But it's rare that the landlords don't want to comply. Nobody wants bed bugs in the building.
So that landlord could be hit with a fine if they are not taking care of it.
Absolutely, yep. This is state law. The landlord needs to get someone in there within 5 days and needs to treat the unit and pay for the treatment. Now there's also, it's clear in the ordinance that the tenant needs to comply, and if they don't comply, can be responsible for paying for the treatment.
All right, Britt, great information. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks very much.
Lee?
All right, thank you very much. It's Monday, so that means it must be raining, right, Keith?
Yeah, there's something to that. I did a little research here. This is the 6th straight Monday with rain. Notice that only one of them had substantial rain, the rest of them under 1/4 of an inch. But if you recall some of these days, Memorial Day being one of them, they were just cloudy, nasty kind of days. That trend unfortunately continued today over central and southern Maine. You can see the onshore flow driving in and colliding with an upper level disturbance. So the convergence of the two has produced the rain being more consistent in the foothills here, where those two things are clamoring together. Now we do have more moisture down here across southern New England. For the most part, the heavy rain though will occur over southern New England tonight. We'll just be dealing with showers, off and on drizzle, and a little bit of fog late tonight through early tomorrow morning. As has been the case for almost a month now, the best chance of seeing any clearing here, late day sunshine, is far northern and down east Maine. They've seen kind of a different weather pattern than a lot of the rest of the state, and they'll see that tomorrow as well. Showers continue over southern Maine, central Maine is cloudy, and northern Maine is the spot that sees some clearing. Big things changing though, guys, in the long range forecast, like it'll actually maybe be warm.
Huh, that'll be new. Thanks, Keith. Game wardens say the man who was thrown from a raft on the Dead River died of drowning. Wardens say Richard Sanders was part of a group rafting the Dead River on Saturday. The rafting company North Country Rivers said they suspected some kind of health problem, but wardens say cause of death is drowning. Auburn police and drug agents are investigating after 2 overdose deaths in the same building in Auburn. Police responded to 100 block of Mill Street on June 1st. One woman was dead when they got there. They initially revived a man and got him to the hospital, but he later died.
The Supreme Court is taking up the latest debate about digital technology and privacy rights. Right now, police may not need a search warrant to gain access to your cell phone tower records, which could tell investigators your general location at any given time. This all stems from an armed robbery case where police did not prove probable cause to obtain a warrant for that information, but instead requested the records under the Stored Communications Act. The Supreme Court will hear this case next term. A music teacher from Maine had some pretty special visitors show up last week.
Dr. Richard Nickerson was a top 10 finalist for Music Educator of the Year as presented by the Grammy Awards. Representatives from the Grammys were in Windham last week to present Nickerson with his official certificate. He and the music program at Windham each received $1,000 as well.
As I've said all along, I felt like this award, I'm just a representative, and I represent tens of thousands of music teachers who were just amazing. But more than anything, this award, I think, recognizes the work of my students.
Well, we will have much more on Richard Nickerson and his brush with Grammy fame tomorrow night right here on Now.
And still to come.
A lot of sugar babies do come to Seeking Arrangement looking for help with school, help with tuition, help with rent, help with getting to the next level and hopefully graduating without a pile of debt.
Dating an older, wealthy man to help pay off your college loans. More than 1 million students are doing it. We will be right back. If you're a recent college grad or the parent of one, this likely will not come as a shock to you. Americans owe more than $1.4 trillion in unpaid education debt, according to the Federal Reserve.
It is just so much money. Recent grads and current students are often struggling with this debt, and in some cases, as Jen Moynihan shows us, they're looking for more creative options other than just refinancing to try to get a handle on all of it.
Right, and a heads up, this story you're about to see may not be appropriate for some audiences.
My number used to be 17,000, but then I found a sugar daddy.
If you don't want to become another statistic, go find your sugar daddy at seekingarrangement.com.
They're called sugar babies, young people representing one half of an unconventional whole in a flashy and controversial dating lifestyle that defies the norm.
He's an older guy, he's got businesses in Latin America, and he says, here, I'll fly you out to Mexico City. You want to go?
Sugar babies like Sarah Degorski promise all the excitement of an intimate relationship without the drawbacks of long-term commitment. Older, wealthy benefactors, or sugar daddies, shell out thousands of dollars in return for romantic relationships.
The way I went into it is, well, I've been treated so badly by the people my age. Here's somebody older who's treating me well. Why not? What do I have to lose?
A lifestyle that's become so lucrative, it's triggered the creation of online sites connecting interested sugar babies with ready and willing daddies. The sugar dating site, seekingarrangement.com, has a worldwide membership of 10 million. 1.2 million of those members are college students.
A lot of sugar babies do come to Seeking Arrangement looking for help with school, help with tuition, help with rent, help with getting to the next level, and hopefully graduating without a pile of debt.
Like most online dating sites, Seeking Arrangement allows users to create profiles, adding personal information and photos to browse interested parties and message one another to arrange dates.
So what makes sugar dating sites like Seeking Arrangement different from regular dating sites out there?
The main difference with Seeking Arrangement is what we call a lifestyle expectation. So similar to how someone who might be dating offline has an expectation of how much they expect someone to spend on them in a relationship, or on the converse, how much they would expect to spend on someone.
Lifestyle expectations that can cost sugar daddies an upwards of $2,000 a month. But who are these wealthy benefactors, and what's in it for them?
Most sugar daddies and sugar mommies are CEOs, businessmen, traveling, wealthy. There's a reason they can afford to spend a lot on the person they're with. And it's because they're busy and they're looking for a relationship that maybe doesn't have all the confines of a traditional one.
Relationships that Tyler psychologist Dr. Wilson Renfro says contain a power struggle that's absent from traditional relationships.
Power and control is the center part of that, because if somebody's providing money for school or whatever, and then there's some sort of a demand or some sort of an agreement that there's a reciprocal relationship that you provide something back for them, the person with the money's got the control and the power, and they can kind of call the shots. So it sets up to be real one-sided.
Something he says can be potentially harmful for both parties involved.
I think in a naive kind of world, you can say, okay, this is a great transaction. I get this, you get this, everybody's all okay with this. But I just don't see it working that way.
And to that, Seeking Arrangement spokesperson says the site isn't for everyone.
Now, what would you say to people who argue that sugar dating could be potentially dangerous?
Sugar relationships are not for everyone. We don't twist anyone's arm and force them to make a profile on Seeking Arrangement. People come to our site of their own volition. If they're concerned about their safety, then they shouldn't be online dating, because online dating is always a risk.
That's kind of true. There isn't official data to show whether these relationships are harmful, but online dating experts say safety first. Meet in a public place and tell a friend where you're going. I know, Danny
We don't
Lee.
have enough time to get to the things I'd like to say about this, so I'm going to stick to what you people have to say here on Facebook. Let's see. So many things wrong with this. No self-respect. Sounds icky. I agree, it's got to be illegal. How could this be possible? And isn't that called gold digging? And that's just a sample. So, and that's not. Those aren't my thoughts.
You know, and that brings up a good one,
I can't actually say my
though.
thoughts right now on television.
California has $50 per credit hour, I believe, for state colleges if you're a resident. Why can't Maine do that? You're right. It comes down to, at the end of the day, college is expensive.
Yep, it certainly is. Okay.
Anyway, it's a box office smash today, but the origin story of Wonder Woman began as a comic book decades ago. How a Maine suffragist may have inspired the artwork next on Now.
And I don't want to talk over this. Keith's next.
Stay here. I'll go ahead.
Woman is more than 70 years old, at least according to her creation date, but she's renewing a sense of female empowerment in her new movie. Not only does the superhero rescue a man, her movie grossed more than $100 million in the box office, which breaks the record for a blockbuster directed by a woman.
There was going to be a movie about 10 years ago and it never got off the ground with Joss Whedon. And now it's just a perfect timing where it's mostly female cast and director, and it's a really well done script, I thought. And it's probably the best movie that DC's done for a while. And it's also female lead, which is great. So it's inspiring and it was good and it was wholesome and human, and that was really nice to have.
Oh, by the way, a Maine woman likely factored into her creation those 76 years ago. Annie Lucasta Rogers, also known as Lou, was an advocate for women's suffrage, drawing images of powerful women as they broke free from their bonds of servitude. It's been said in other stories that William Moulton Marston, the creator of Wonder Woman, had a deep interest in the women's suffrage movement, which influenced his writing, including Rogers' illustrations.
Katie Ortiz here with your social stop, and with some serious motivation to do a very important summer chore. I'm talking about mowing your lawn. Take a look at this. This Canadian dad showed the world in this viral picture this weekend that nothing, not even a tornado, would keep him from pushing the lawnmower. Apparently his wife told the BBC he wasn't worried at all. He said to her that he was keeping an eye on the tornado behind him, which they say was about a mile away. The picture took the internet by storm. Come on, you know I had to do it. And people on social media adored him for his dedication and his casual attitude. Amanda, no excuses for you next time you have to go and mow your lawn.
I come up with a lot. You said it's farther.
It doesn't bother, yeah, it's a meteorologist that doesn't bother them, because you'd be amazed if you're used to seeing tornadoes, how much you understand. Like, it turns out when they interviewed him further, it was moving away from him. And I mean, I would have at least taken a picture.
It's a cool picture.
It's a great picture, and those are cool
Good
tornadoes.
on his wife for capturing that photo.
Yeah,
I guess his kids
totally.
were inside. From what I read, the kids were inside panicking.
In a cast iron tub taking that picture.
Right.
So,
Yeah, mom's taking epic dad moment. Bottom line.
Total dad.
Total dad moment.
I have to get this done.
I like it. I appreciate it. These Mondays have been. I feel it in the newsroom. Like, people come in and everyone's like,
always get me down.
Yeah. Well, we got some good news for you.
Who is that?
You got a lot of. You got a lot of sun.
It's a song.
I know,
Suspicious
name it.
suntan. Don't you think?
We did?
No, him.
Oh, I said the same thing.
Suspicious.
But listen, Sunday was a great day for a suntan.
Is it your natural glow, Lee?
I was mowing the lawn.
Is that what it is? You're mowing the lawn during a tornado.
I'm pregnant. It's my pregnancy glow.
It shows out great on you. All right, look at the difference in the state right here. 64 for a high in Caribou. I mentioned before how northern Maine has recently seen much nicer weather than central and southern Maine. Today was another example. Onshore flow, east, 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 southeast. That is usually not a good sign for coastal Maine, and today was low clouds, drizzle, and showers. There's nothing really heavy going on across the state right now, and I think through tonight we continue with generally light showers, but I find it kind of interesting to see the onshore flow there intersecting with the general movement of the upper level low to the west, and where those two converge is our best area of showers. But again, tonight, most of the heavy rain stays down across southern New England, and we deal with just showers, patchy fog, and a little bit of drizzle. It's not pleasant, but it could be a lot worse. Tomorrow's an interesting day. It's a split state forecast in that central and southern Maine will see showers, clouds, and not much in the way of sunshine. Northern Maine, once again, though, will see a better day. They'll see more sunshine north of Bangor, Millinocket, Caribou. You see temperatures respond to that. Eventually, we all start to dry out as we head into Wednesday, rapidly so. And I actually think Wednesday is a really nice day in the beginning of the turning of our fortunes, because they have not been good thus far. It's been a very slow start to, say, late spring, early summer. But I like the signal in the mid-range as you see that warming, that ridging getting in here starting late in the week, into the weekend, into early next week as well. This is what I'm thinking as far as numbers go, and the trend is your friend in this case. The only reason I have Friday at 64 is I'm a little nervous about a storm there, but either way, we're going up Saturday, Sunday, Monday into the upper 80s and the possibility of some low 90s as well on Monday. The weekend looks pretty good. I wouldn't rule out an isolated thunderstorm and a mountain sprinkle, but you know, those things are a lot more tolerable when it's 80. That feels summery. It's a huge difference compared to, say, it being 60 with an isolated sprinkle. So I think you're going to like it. I told people to put their air conditioning in, and they told me their wood stoves were still burning in a lot of places. I believe that.
I believe that too, for sure.
I'm in on the air conditioner, and the heat has not been turned on since. I refuse. Not until October.
That's a dad move.
Not until October.
That is a
That's
dad
a dad move.
All right, thanks, Keith. The ups and downs of the real estate market in Maine, it's kind of been a topic that we've been talking about over the last few weeks, including a low inventory of homes for sale.
Well, now there's an uptick in homeowners investing in their current properties, remodeling on the rise, according to a Harvard Center for Housing study. And the studies show that that trend could continue through 2025. Redoing the kitchen is the most popular renovation, but it also comes with the biggest price tag. Consumer surveys show that most remodeling projects are paid for in cash, but not every homeowner sees a return on that investment.
You end up recouping, you know, somewhere in the neighborhood of 50 to 70% back in terms of added value.
If you're getting ready to move, you want to stick with the smaller things, but if you're actually going to be in your house for 4 or 5 years, investing in that big remodel could be money really well spent.
Here's what's interesting. According to Angie's List, 3 out of 4 homeowners are planning a remodeling project in the next year.
All right, News Center Now continues after the break.
All right, today's brain drops. This is pretty cool, huh? This is a real image.
This is really neat.
These are all little water spouts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Look at that one back there.
Oh,
6. This is coming off a volcano in the Big Island in Hawaii. Kiloa.
Nice try.
Yeah, that's the best I'm going to do with it. Couple of interesting things about this. These, in my opinion, do you guys know what a water spout is to begin with? We should probably start there.
Let's start there.
It's basically a tornado over water. And as soon as they can cross from water onto land, you'll see them in Florida and the Gulf a decent amount of time. I would argue these are almost more like dust devils. The vortice is being created by the lava, how hot it is. It's rising really quickly, and then the ash is heavy. So that's like your cloud. This is the rising air, and the vortex starts because of that quick rising air that kind of stretches the whole column. So I would bet that if you went through those, you'd be okay, unlike a tornado.
But you obviously don't need a volcano to cause these things.
You don't. A water spout is tornadic in nature, and you don't want to drive through it. I bet if you went through that on a boat, you'd be okay, minus the lava.
Yeah, that's not good.
Lava
falls.
Just
so take that.
Go around this way.
This is a tip from Keith. Don't drive through lava.
News Center at 5:30 starts now.
Pro tip.